college sports has always been about money. The whole world's about money. Um, but they've done a good job of hiding it in college sports for a while. I personally think this NCAA tournament is like the big reveal. Like, dude, it's not about coaching. It's not about recruiting. It's about cash. Not to say coaches and recruiting isn't a factor, right? Because, like, even if Maryland had the most money for Derek Queen, if he hated Kevin Willard, there'd be another dude that had money.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not $100, maybe it's $95. But if you hate a dude, maybe you eat the $5.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an accident that there aren't upsets. I'm not saying that upsets will be over, but I think it's going to be harder and harder and harder to have these tournaments with big upsets when the money is so large.
It's going to be harder, but I think you're going to find, like I said yesterday, every big name player is not going to be able to make it go to all these schools. They can't take everybody. And you're going to find one of these mid-majors that have some backing, and they're going to pull in some stars, and they're going to upset people. But I think what happens is once people figure this thing out and they put limits on stuff, they come back. Because the guys at the mid-majors are not going to all – they'll get somewhere where they're getting enough money. They'll get a lot, or they're going to go to the league, and they'll be doing like they did before. Because let's be real. It's not – those schools – the guys at the big schools been getting money.
So I think the kid at Colorado State, Nick Clifford, that was so good against Maryland, really so good all year, he'll probably go pro, but I wonder if he wasn't – like White Brian, was that kid that good last year, Nick Clifford? Because I'm almost surprised he stayed at Colorado State and didn't go to Colorado or UCLA.
A lot of dispensaries out in Colorado.
It's true.
He got a lot of money.
Yeah, he was good, but he wasn't like all-American good.
See, I think the difference is there is a chance for a mid-major, right? Like, pick your mid-major. Wofford, your school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have 4 guards that are really good, and they rain threes. And they're able to get you for a year, but then they're all gone. Like you heard Brockway talking about how the Florida Atlantic was really good, and now everyone is gone from there, including the coach.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it gets really hard to sustain any of that. And here's something I find pretty telling, right? This year's Sweet 16 teams for the math majors, has 7 SEC teams, 4 Big 12s, 4 Big 10s, and 1 ACC team. Of the teams that are in there, listen to the budgets. The athletic department budget. Bama is in the Sweet 16. Bama has the 3rd biggest budget in the country. Michigan, number 4. Florida, number 8. Auburn, number 11. Michigan State, number 12. Kentucky, 16. Tennessee, 18. Arkansas, 20. Ole Miss, 30. Arizona, 31. Purdue, 37. Texas Tech, 41. Maryland, 43. And Houston, 56. So all of these schools are inside the top 60. Mm-hmm. And hell, 8 of them are inside the top 20.
Yeah, but when we looked at them most years, all those people were still there before this came around. And you may have what we had every year, we had maybe 1, maybe 2 people can get to the Sweet 16 Elite 8. It wasn't like we were getting 5 and 6 mid-majors all the way through.
Yeah, but there was a period of time where there was like a mid-major team pop into the Final Four like every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, because those guys were able to keep 4 or 5 guys around that have been there the whole time. And they didn't win it. So ultimately, I think we're just looking at it how it is now. You give it another 5, 6 years, it'll be right back how it was. You'll see some upsets. Because this thing is going to settle.
So do you think the lack of upsets has made things worse right now?
I don't see it not being that much worse. I've had a lot of excitement over these games. I'd rather them be closer. Listen, having a guy upset somebody in the first round and then knocked out in the second round don't mean much to me.
So I think it's very possible that what makes the first and second round so compelling are the upsets and the buzzer beaters.
Mm-hmm.
And there really weren't many of those. But I think it is set up for the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight to be awesome because the matchups,
Yeah.
I mean, dude, these are all like heavy hitter, like national broadcast type games. You know what I mean? Like Duke, Arizona, Houston, Purdue, Kentucky, Tennessee. I've watched that game. I made a point to watch at least one of those this season, and I don't root for either team.
Yeah.
Florida, Maryland, Auburn, Michigan. Auburn, Michigan is the kind of game that sounds like it could be the Sugar Bowl or like a Final Four matchup.
Yeah.
White Brian, has the lack of upsets made this tournament worse in your mind?
No. Exactly what you said. I'm excited for these matchups. You want to see the best teams fight for the national championship.
800-636-1067. Has the lack of upsets made the tournament worse? Because I remember when we did it last week, all these people would call in and say, yo, the tournament's so much better than the NFL playoffs because you get these upsets, whereas in the NFL.
And I thought those people were crazy then. Well, I think they're crazy now.
Right. And I would argue you do get upsets in the NFL because what happened when the Skins went up to Detroit? I think anytime the nature of the sport is the playoff is a one and done. It's not a series. It's not a best of 5, best of 7. It's a one and done. Anything can happen. And just because there haven't been upsets, what if 2 1 seeds go down before Saturday? You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden it's wide open. Joe is in Manassas. Joe, is this tournament worse because there haven't been any upsets so far?
Well, I love the show as always, JP BMitch. But, I don't think it's as good, honestly. I mean, it's like the rich get richer type thing. You know what I mean? And is there a salary cap? Like, or is that coming? There needs to be some type of cap. Because if all the teams, can get the best player, like why wouldn't they have some type of salary cap? I think there should be some type of salary cap just so you could spread the talent around and actually get to see some more of the upsets. That's why people watch the tournament. I mean, don't you agree? That's why they want to see the upset. That's my personal opinion.
I think people like the upsets until this weekend. Like, I guarantee if you had a game, what could have been a possible upset bracket? Because I know I had UNCW. If Friday at 6:00 was UNCW versus Drake, it'd be the worst rated game of the day.
Agreed.
Like, people want the upsets right.
They want the upsets early.
Yeah.
But when it gets down to 16, 8, 4, they don't want no teams in there that they don't think have a chance of winning.
Right.
And I'll be honest,
falls off about that time.
You know why everybody's saying, oh, man, the upsets are down? Because everybody's been telling you all year, take the 12. They normally beat the 5. A lot of people lost a lot of damn money early on because they didn't really look at the teams this year. They just went with what people had normally said throughout the years.
And also,
I do think 2-12s won, though.
And also, JP, does the coaches like taking the big name jobs? Like, I know you got to start somewhere, but like, aren't all the coaches like starting at like Florida Atlantic or like you said earlier? Like, how you can't retain your talent? You can't keep guys more than 1 or 2 years if they're good.
Right.
Like, how can you build a program?
Yeah, I mean, the days of a dude like Larinaga lasting 25 years at George Mason are cooked.
You know what? We say that now. It always goes a certain way, and then it settles itself. You're going to see this thing change up. It always does that.
It's a good call, Joe. Thanks, buddy. Hey,
you guys have a great day, man.
Thanks, bro. You too. White Brian, what is coming to college sports? Is it rev share or is it a salary cap? Because there's something coming.
They've been discussing options for what seems like 5 years. I'm not going to believe something's coming until I actually see.
I thought something's coming this summer.
No, what I'm going to tell you? You fought this long not to pay these athletes at all. Now they have a chance to go get what they're worth. And now you're going to tell them, oh, we're going to limit you because somebody complaining about you getting better people. The SEC, the ACC, the Big Ten, they've been getting better athletes than everybody ever anyway. And it's the same thing going on now. All you're going to do is end up with some more lawsuits. That's about to happen.
Yo, listen to this. This is from a Ross Dellinger story, Yahoo Sports. Under college sports' new revenue sharing rules, schools will be permitted to distribute a pool of revenue to athletes up to an annual escalating $20.5 million in year one. Power League programs are gearing up to spend the majority of that revenue pool allotment, as much as $13 to $16 million, on their revenue-generating giant of football, a move to remain competitive in the industry's self-proclaimed cash cow. For most power programs, that leaves roughly $2 to $4 million to be directly shared with men's basketball. But for those fellow D1 schools without a football program or one that competes a level down, flexibility exists to heavily invest in a singular sport with the goal of winning one of America's most popular events, the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament. This is a quote from Houston Athletic Director Eddie Nunez. He says, Big East schools next year could pay $6 million or more to their basketball team, and that's a game changer. I know we've discussed one local dude that might be interested in going to the Big East, and people are like, but wait, why?
That's why.
How about this quote from...
Let me hit you with this, Jay. Okay, they're paying kids, and it's legal. Before it was legal, they had major alumni paying players and things like that. You mean to tell me anybody in this world thinks if the Big East could have $6 million and the other schools getting $2 million, that there's not going to be no money funneling to those kids?
Go back the old way. You need a
Come
bag,
on, dog.
man.
Listen, that's what I'm telling you.
Let me read this quote.
Lawsuits are going to change everything.
Dog, this is from the Duke Athletic Director. Duke Athletic Director Nina King. In the Big East, their basketball revenue share portion will be a lot more than what those of us who can have with Division I power football program. Huh.